Hello, welcome to LiveCycle Tutorials. My name is Jason, and for our first video I thought I'd be setting up a blank page with just some of my personal preferences for how I handle things like prefixes on objects and how I like to set everything up. That way, if you do want to follow along, you have an idea of where we're starting from. So first, I'm just going to create a new file. By default, my LiveCycle Designer is set up to create dynamic files. And what I'm going to do over here, I don't like having these different objects untitled, so I'm going to give it names. In this case, Content Area 1, and this page, I'm going to name it P1. As you follow along, you'll see that's what I'm going to do each time. And then I'm just going to drag some of these items here, and I'll name them as we bring them in. In this case, my buttons, I like for my prefixes for buttons to be BTN, and then whatever I'll have the button do. Here's just an example, add row, something I might have a button do quite often. And then checkboxes, we'll call this CB for checkbox, and item, because obviously I have no idea what these would be doing since I'm just creating something randomly. Date field, time field, and date time field, they all function very similarly, and they have a lot of the same properties. So we'll just use DF, date. DF is a good prefix for any of those three. The main reason for these prefixes is going to be when we start scripting. As we script, whenever you see BTN, CBDF, as you get started, you already know what you're dealing with, and that will help us as we move forward. Whenever we're looking at a longer script, it makes it easier to remember, oh, that's what I'm working on. Decimal fields and numeric fields share a lot of the same properties, so to eliminate confusion, we'll use NF. And we'll say number. Who knows what that would have been? Let's see. Drop down lists. And drop down list, obviously DDL stuff. Buttons are the same. Flash fields, not that we have any flashes we're adding in here yet, but if we did, FF, animation, image and image field, we use ING, picture. Okay, list box has its own set of properties similar to drop down list, but not quite the same, so LB list. And again, after the prefix, I'm just making something up for now. Let's see, password field, we'll use PF secret, and radio button. A radio button doesn't just create a radio button, it also creates a list to go with it. The radio buttons themselves we usually don't have to affect in any way. Normally their selection is going to affect something else, but it is nice to have the list getting its own name. So RBL choices, and then subforms. Have a lot of those, including our page, which was, we're going to name P1. But in general, SF is a good prefix for that. Table, of course, when I create this, we're going to get a little pop-up box, but we don't care about that. Table, we'll call this TBL. Anything. Running out of things to say now. see. Text and text field. Now, text is really a label. It doesn't have many properties to it. We can change the value, we can put a border around it, but there are a lot of things that text can't do that a text field can do. So we have a couple of options. We can just choose, call them both TF, but for text, let's go with label, LBL. Instructions. This would be like if you were creating a form, you may put just a whole bunch of text with instructions for how to do something. So, but if you need somebody entering information, then you want a text field. We'll call this TF. And then time field, we said would be very similar to date and date time field. So let's just give you an idea. When you see these later on, you'll understand that that is what I'm doing. I'm actually intentionally giving these names with prefixes to make things easier for us. I think for now that should be all. Hope to see you in the next video, and leave comments or subscribe if you'd like to get quick notifications if YouTube is working, to let you know when there's a new video. Thank you.